Welcome to the TW Sports Talk Super Regional Preview Show. We have two college baseball players with us tonight. JT, if you want to start by just talking a little bit about yourself.
JT Marr. I started out at Flagler College, went to Florence Darlington Junior College. From there, I went to College Charleston for 2.5 years and did my final grad year at Penn State University. And I played catcher. My favorite memory playing college ball was definitely the Big Ten championship in Omaha, Charles Schwab. So,
Sweet.
Brad?
Yeah, appreciate that, JT. What's up? Bradley Bott, played at UNC Greensboro from 2019 to 2023. I played outfield, mainly center field. My main memory from college would be winning the Southern Conference Championship, going to play in a regional. That was pretty awesome, probably one of the most funnest experiences of my life.
Was that a dig right there? You spent
No,
all 4
man,
years
it
at the same
wasn't. It
school?
was not. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Tell us about your regional experience in Statesboro.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was Georgia Southern was the host. They were the 16 seed. Um, Notre Dame was the 2 seed, I believe, and Texas Tech was the 3. Either of them, vice versa. But us 4 in it. Like I said, it was awesome. The second you got there, it felt like you kind of were mini superstar, just the way they treated you. Georgia Southern had top-notch facilities, but I mean, playing those games was awesome, man. Just a different experience. Nothing changed about the game itself, but it's just cool playing in front of a bunch of people when you're not used to that, especially at a mid-major like UNCG. But you also get the chance to play teams like Georgia Southern and Texas Tech and Notre Dame. So overall, it was a great experience. Had a lot of fun, and hope other kids are able to play in regionals.
That's awesome. On this one, we will start with Bradley. What are your biggest takeaways from the regionals?
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from the regionals was that you can't count out the 3 and the 4 seeds. I think that's what makes baseball special. You see it, with March Madness, the Cinderella runs in the tournament, but I feel like baseball truly is one of those Cinderella sports. I mean, you got teams like Cal Poly going to the Morgantown Regional. They're a great team, but mid-major school. Um, I mean, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Troy themselves just matching up in the Super Regional. That's pretty sweet. But I you definitely expect this next round to be a step up from what we just saw in terms of pitching, hitting, and just the intensity as well.
JT?
My biggest takeaway from the regionals, people may not like me for saying this, but I think I think the NIL and the transfer portal are really, showing their wings here. I think it's pretty cool. I think the talent is spread out a lot more. You're finding yourselves at the mid-major level are getting some of these, A players when the A plus players are, coming in, taking their spots, which, there's a positive and a negative, right? But now you have Troy in Little Rock playing in a super regional, which is pretty cool. Because now it may, open some eyes for some players out of high school, junior college, things like that, and the mid majors aren't a bad option now. So I think that was my biggest takeaway, which is pretty cool. Now I know some people may disagree with me on this, but I think the game, we're going to see a lot more talent, and I think a lot of players are going to get more exposure this way too, which is pretty cool. I think you find, come draft and things like that, you had a lot of players taken from these big schools, but now you get guys like Troy and Little Rock playing on the big stage. All eyes on them, right? These kids, these kids come out and play well, might get a shot. Who knows, right?
Mid-majors having more success nowadays. We have two prime examples with you guys here. JT started out at Flagler, like he was saying, and then he went to Florence Darlington for 1 year. And then after that, JT spent 2 years at Charleston, and then Bradley went to UNCG and just like he was telling us, he had really good success up there. Won a conference title, got to experience what it's like playing in a regional. So for everybody coming out of high school, there's a lot more options than just going Power 4 Division 1. We can talk about what was your biggest surprise from this past weekend in the regionals. We'll start with JT this time.
Oof. Biggest surprise. Biggest surprise, I think, was seeing Florida State and Coastal Carolina playing each other in the elimination game. I was pretty shocked about that. And, Brad and Tyler, we spoke about this a little bit before, with the pitching situation at Coastal, and I think his name's Cam Fluke.
Yeah.
Seeing how he would kind of pan out, coming in halfway through the season. And I think that series or that regional was pretty surprising. And, I mean, St. John's, we also talked about this, St. John's is a great ball club. Kind of been around winning for a long time. I think they've won the Big East, or I think it's the Big East, like 16 times or something crazy, which is pretty cool. So it's not really surprising that I think that they played well and moved on in big-time situation, but more so, you got Florida State, top-ranked team, and Coastal Carolina, who, is a pretty gritty ball club, just kind of got washed away, which is, pretty crazy. But
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like there's a lot of things that kind of surprised me. I mean, obviously being with UCLA going down as the number 1 seed, and just a couple of other like national top seeds not making it out. But I feel like what Oklahoma did in the Georgia Tech regional is really telling. I think that's a team you got to watch out for the College World Series. Them and Southern Cal, what Southern Cal did at Texas A&M, those boys can hit, and what they did at Texas A&M the last game with like a Sunday in the midweek starter was very impressive. But I think that's with baseball, there's a lot of upsets, there's a lot of craziness. It's who can get hot at the right time, and clearly these teams are hitting their stride right now.
yeah, when I was fortunate to go to the Georgia Tech regional or Atlanta regional and watch Citadel play on Saturday morning versus Oklahoma, and it was honestly one of those things where watching that Oklahoma play every game, I felt like they had at least 4 or 5 home runs every game.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about just kind of stepping up in the big time situation. I mean, Oklahoma is definitely a team to watch out for. Because me personally, I thought Georgia Tech had it in the bag.
Too. I mean, that was a crazy.
But
I can't believe they did what they did, but I feel like that's also very telling of a ball club and how much they probably believe in each other and the coaching that they've got, which is a good recipe for success, especially in the postseason.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's going to take for the postseason. So
I'd say the thing that surprised me the most was what Al was able to do at UCLA. I mean, taking down the number, because I think that was the first time that the number 1 seed, the number 1 overall seed, has lost the opening the opening matchup in their own regional. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So not only that, but the other thing is this is the first time since I can remember that the number 1 and the number 2 national seeds will not be represented for the super regionals. Number 1, UCLA. Number 2 national seed was what JT was just talking about with Georgia Tech not making it out of their own regional as a number 2 national seed.
Mid-majors.
Yeah.
Causes some damage.
The next one, we'll start previewing the super regionals. We get started with the Morgantown Super Regional, which will be hosted by West Virginia, and they have Cal Poly, or it will be coming in to visit them. We'll start with Bradley on this one.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be a 3-game series matchup, but I would probably, for me, fall to West Virginia. Reason being, I think, 1, that's a long flight for Cal Poly to make. 2, West Virginia being at home and their home crowd. 3, just West Virginia had I think they had a 40-plus win season, and what they did in the regionals on Sunday to come out and take it from Kentucky is telling. I think it's going to be a competitive matchup, though. Both are great ball clubs, but I got West Virginia sneaking out of that one barely.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Virginia is gonna take it on this one. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I think the biggest thing about Cal Poly and any California school, I mean, there's so much talent out there in California. It's like Pepperdine and some of these other schools. They've always kind of find themselves around the postseason talk all the time. So it's not really surprising that I think they pulled it off. I think they're a good ball club, but I've played at West Virginia Stadium, and their fans take it pretty serious.
They are rowdy.
They're a rowdy bunch. So I think Cal Poly is going to have their hands full, and I think they may be a little shell shocked once they get
seriously.
there, because it's different. It's a different atmosphere. They love their baseball. They love their Mountaineers. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up. And playing on turf, some may say they play the West Coast ball. I don't know how many home runs they've hit this year, but playing on turf, we'll see how the West Coast ball plays out. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'd say sort of piggybacking off of what JT just said, with the West Virginia in the Morgantown Regional, with Cal Poly coming in there, especially if any of those games start at 7 or 7:30 at night. I'm pretty sure those West Virginia fans are gonna have a little something in their system that's gonna give them a little extra.
They're gonna
That's the one. That's the nice thing about playing at home in the Super. You got your fans behind you, and I mean, it really feels like a safety net. I mean, you're running out there, and thank God they're not the ones chirping me, because there's a lot.
You're never out of a game. I think that's what we saw at Kentucky, right?
100%.
I mean, their fans were on their feet every inning they were at the plate. It felt like they were never out of the ball game. Kentucky came and hit 2 bombs in the bottom of the 8th or top of the 8th, and that was I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be a good one.
And then next one we will preview will be the Troy versus Little Rock Super Regional, the matchup of the mid-majors.
Yeah, I think.
You can go ahead.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'll probably stick with Troy on this one. I think historically Troy is a strong mid-major ball club. I feel like they're one of those teams you see every year, 30, 35 plus wins, just solid depth all over the field. They got guys that can run, guys can hit, guys can pitch. Um, I was impressed by Little Rock, Arkansas. They did kind of remind me of like a UTSA last year that came out of Austin's regional and paired up with UCLA in the Supers last year. But for me, I think I got Troy advancing and going to the World Series.
I think I'm gonna go with Troy as well. I think taking down a big powerhouse like Florida, those boys have a lot of confidence right now. They're kind of riding the wave. Not taking anything away from Little Rock, but they came out of a tough regional as well. But Troy just seemed, watching them play that last game against Florida, it didn't really seem like they had much quit to them. Obviously, they put it to them pretty good, but it looked like they did a lot of the little things right, and they didn't really seem to care about who Florida put on the mound. When I was watching the game, I was talking to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but it seemed like every time I looked up, somebody was on second base, and they had a guy out there throwing 98, 99. So I think they're just maybe a gritty bunch, and I think Little Rock's going to have their hands full. But I think it's going to be an awesome series. I'm definitely going to be tuned into that
For
one.
sure.
So I just realized that I got a little sidetracked with talking about West Virginia fans getting lubed up for their super regional, and I didn't even say who I thought was going to win that one. So the Morgantown, I'll go with in the Morgantown Super Regional. I'm going to go with West Virginia, and I'll go West Virginia in 3. That series will get extended to Monday.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I said mine either, but West Virginia in 3. Yeah, I think Cal Poly will have one winning.
Yeah.
And then with the one we're previewing now, I'd say I'd have to go with Troy, just sort of going off of what JT was talking about with Troy taking out Florida down in the Gainesville Super Regional. I think they'll take that confidence that they had out of that regional, and I think the other thing that'll help them is they'll have that regional on their home field too, and they'll have their fans behind them, and that'll help them a lot. And that'll go, and I think that one will also go to Monday. Troy will be headed to Omaha.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the next one, we will go with the Tuscaloosa Super Regional, hosted by the Crimson Tide, and they are welcoming St. John's. We'll start with JT on that one.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna ride the wave with the Johnnies. I think, kind of sticking to my guns here, what I said earlier. I think they're kind of a ball club that has always been around winning. So I think Alabama's a great ball club as well, but I think they're going to give them a tough time, and I think they're a pretty scrappy club too. So I don't know too much about them, but I think they're going to take this one. I think it will be. I think it'll go to 3 games. I don't think they're going to go in 2, but I think they have some pretty good arms too. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I like St. John's, but I do think Alabama gets it done. As much as I hate saying it, I want St. John's to do it, but I feel like this is kind of the year for Alabama to get over the hump and finally sneak into the College World Series. I think it will be a 3-game series, but also something that's been kind of lingering in my thoughts is if St. John's wins that first game, watch out, because I feel like Bama's the type of team where you punch them in the face, they're going to fall back on their heels a little bit, especially with the momentum that St. John's has coming out of the Florida State regional after winning that with Coastal and Florida State, good teams. So I'm going to take Alabama in 3. But like I said, if St. John's gets that first game, watch out.
I'd say for the Tuscaloosa Super Regional, I'm probably I'll say that the Crimson Tide are gonna take advantage of having that one on their home field, and and I know St. John's is hot right now, but there's something my instincts telling me that this is going to be one of the short super regionals, and I think they get this one. I think they get this one finished on. I think they get this one finished on Sunday.
Yeah. What's the next one we're doing? Chapel Hill?
Yeah, the next one we'll preview. The Tar Heels of UNC are going to be hosting the Southern California Trojans. We'll get started with Bradley on this one.
Yeah, I think this is going to be probably for me the most competitive series. I think this is one that should get a lot of attention. I think Carolina and Southern Cal are both Omaha teams, but I think right now Southern Cal is just a little bit hotter than UNC. I think Southern Cal can get it done in 3. I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm just going with the bats in this matchup. I think Southern Cal can hit better than Chapel Hill, and like I was saying, I felt like anybody that they threw out in the Texas A&M regional gave them a shot, gave them a chance, and their offense delivered and kind of carried them. And I think they stay with that.
JT?
I think I'm going to go with North Carolina here. I think North Carolina is pretty serious, and they have a lot of experience too, a little bit. They got that closer. I think his name is McDowell, maybe. And they got Gallagher at third base or second base. I can't remember what he played. He's been a big time player. USC, I think, is definitely battle tested. Out in California, playing Oregon, and being in the Big Ten. But I think North Carolina's pitching is also very deep, which I think is gonna help. Caden Glovers, I think his name is, actually out of Fort Mill. ACC Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's like 9-0 or something crazy, or was 9-0. I think that's going to play a key role in this one. As any other post-game season or post-game would help having a deep bullpen. So I think I got North Carolina in 2 here. Go out on a limb.
I like it. Hey.
I'd say for this one, I know JT's probably not going to like when I say this, but as we saw with the UCLA regional, the competition level in the Big Ten seems to be not as high as the ACC.
Ouch.
So I will say that I think UNC is going to take care of Southern Cal, and they're going to take care of them on Sunday.
Tell me how you really feel.
Well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't disagree.
Wait, I said Sunday on the Chapel Hill Regional game
Yeah, it's
1.
game. That would be game 3.
Yeah, okay. So they're going to finish them on Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
2-0 sweep.
And then I can't remember for what I said for the 2-0 sweep before, but if I said the wrong thing.
No, I think you said it
All
right.
right. And then the next one will be the Texas Longhorns will be hosting the Oregon Ducks.
You want this one, JT?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. This one I think is the one I'm most excited for. I know, Big Ten was just getting talked down upon,
right.
but but I think Oregon's a really good ball club, and I think this is kind of another team that's kind of been always around the postseason talk. I think Texas is going to have their hands full, and Texas is very good. But I think Oregon's going to take this one. I think it's going to go to 3. But I think Oregon's got some good arms out of the pen. And they're always a scrappy bunch. So I think it's going to be a good series, but Oregon's going to take it.
Yeah. Oregon's a great ball club. I've watched a few of their games this year, just, playing against UCLA, USC, those top 25 Big Ten matchups. But for me, I kind of think the team for me in the College World Series is Texas this year. And I think this is kind of a statement series for them. I think if they take care of them too, then they're going to fly through the College World Series, no problem. But I do agree with you. I think they got their hands full. I still like Texas here, but in 3 games.
I'd say for the Austin Regional, I know I've previewed quite a few sweeps so far, but I'd say for the Austin Regional, I'd say this goes 3, and I'd say the Oregon Ducks are going to give Texas a little bit of a run for their money, but I think in the end, I think the Texas Longhorns are gonna find their way to Omaha.
Down goes the Big Ten again, huh?
Hey, it's not just me. Go, why don't you go watch your former teammates' TikToks? It ain't just me, man.
All right, which one we got next? We're going to the Auburn Regional or Athens?
We will go to the Auburn Regional. The Auburn Tigers are welcoming in the Ole Miss Rebels. We'll start with JT on this one.
This one's gonna be a good one too. SEC showdown. I think Ole Miss is gonna do it. Auburn's good, but I think they kind of teetered a little bit in the regional. And I think Ole Miss they're pretty hot at the plate right now. And Ole Miss, they came out of a pretty difficult regional as well. So I think I think Ole Miss is going to take this one. I think they're going to take it in 2.
Yeah, I'm on that as well. Ole Miss in 2. The reason I say that is I feel like the last few years Auburn's kind of one of those teams. They have a hot regular season. They make a regional. They host a regional. And then they slowly start to unwind, fall apart, choke games, kick the ball away, whatever it may be. And I can kind of see that in this one. I feel like, especially with kind of the hiccups they had in the regional, kind of sneaking out, I think a good ball club like Ole Miss will take advantage of that. Something else, Ole Miss is just one of those traditional programs that consistently wins. And something that always sticks with me is the year we went to the regional, Ole Miss was the last team in, and that was the year they won the College World Series. So I feel like, 1, never count them out. to, especially in the postseason, watch out for them. They'll take advantage of any sort of errors or mistakes that are made and capitalize.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Hitting on that, they were last team in and they were last team standing. Once you kind of get to that point, I feel like your culture changes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think, it's kind
There's
of just
nothing to
understood
lose
no
either.
matter where you are. Yeah, no matter where you are, you can always get back to it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great point. Yeah, I think Ole Miss kind of has what it takes.
I'd say for the Auburn regional, I guess we're all gonna have the same. We're all gonna have the same pick here.
Great minds
I'm
think
gonna
alike.
Yes,
go.
sir.
I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna go with the Ole Miss Rebels.
I like it. Hotty toddy, baby.
And then the last one we have to go over gonna be the Athens regional, Georgia.
You have two more, right? You have two more.
We got the
Oklahoma and
Lawrence.
Kansas.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma, Kansas. We have.
Which one you want to do first?
We'll do the the Athens regional with Georgia hosting Mississippi State. Start with Bradley on this one.
So for me, I think I'm going with Georgia on this. Georgia's been super high recently, but I feel like if this super was at Mississippi State, I'd say go Mississippi State. I think it's going to be a super competitive series. Both have great fan bases, both have great teams, both hot at the right time. And they both have a couple impact players that can take over the game. But with Georgia being at home, I'm gonna roll with the Bulldogs at home.
JD.
Yep, I'm on that as well. I feel like now, don't quote me on this, but Georgia's one of those teams that plays really well at home, I think. And it's kind of like a West Virginia situation. That stadium's going to be packed. And it's almost like they know how to win at their home field. And so I think Mississippi State's going to put up a good fight. I think they're going to hit a lot of home runs, but I think Georgia just knows how to win. And I think they're going to make a run at the in Omaha as well. That might be my team there. But who knows? I think it's going to go 3 games, so we'll see. It'll be a good one.
It's hard to go against somebody, or not somebody. It's hard to go against a team that's 34-7 at home, and but I have a feeling that Dan O'Connor is going to take Mississippi State down to Athens, and I think be able to finish off Georgia's season in 3, and going to be able to take the Bulldogs to Omaha this year.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, bro. Another thing we didn't really hit on. Trey Phillips, he's out in the first game, which I don't think it's going to be. He's a great ball player, but it takes 1 through 9 to get it done.
Oh, that's right. He got suspended for the first game, didn't he?
Yeah. So, not that it's going to be that big of a deal breaker, but definitely something to keep on the front of the brain.
Yeah, and that's something I did kind of forget, and as you brought it up, it clicked, and that's what I was gonna say. Like thinking of that, I feel like I can't remember if it was last year or a few years ago, but I feel like Georgia did this where they had a hot regular season, they cruised through the regional, and then they got to the super, they choked, and it was like they didn't know how to play baseball. So I feel like if Mississippi State comes and punches them in the mouth, that's going to be a big test for Georgia. They don't have their best player in the field. And they could just roll with the momentum there.
You change your pick?
No. Still staying with the Bulldogs. Sick 'em.
And then the last one we got is the Lawrence Super Regional. Kansas is hosting the Oklahoma Sooners. Let's start. Let's start with Proudly on this one.
This is I think this is a pretty cool Super. One, just the rivalry factor there. But two, I feel like both these teams are. I feel like there's really not a wrong pick here. I feel like Kansas this past weekend at their regional, they proved to me why they could be an Omaha team. Just doing what they did to Arkansas and just showing that they can play against top SEC teams. But, I mean, man, Oklahoma going to the Georgia Tech regional and finding a way to scrape out of there. I think I'm going to go Oklahoma in 3, just staying with the momentum. I feel like Oklahoma's a tiny bit hotter. And I feel like they may have a tiny bit more depth to get it done. But, yeah, this is going to be a super exciting regional. I'm excited for this one.
JT?
Yeah, I think this is one of those regionals or super regionals where, it's a great rivalry, and I think stadium's going to be packed. But Oklahoma is just extremely hot at the plate right now, and if they can keep that going, I think they're going to take it. I'll have Oklahoma in 3 here, and I think watching them play as well, they pumped out a lot of good arms. They had a couple lefties in there, in their closer, came in at the end and looked really good, looked in control of the game. So I think that might make a difference, in the super regional as well.
For the Lawrence Regional, I'm going to go with the Oklahoma Sooners. Sort of like JT was saying, I think they're going to be very confident after going down to Russ Chandler Stadium in Atlanta and knocking off the number 2 overall seed. And I think they'll be able to take that momentum into Lawrence, Kansas. And I think this series will go 3, but I think the Oklahoma Sooners are gonna be able to punch their ticket to Omaha. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
You want it first or me, JT?
You got it.
I was just gonna say. One, baseball is awesome. It's been so sick just watching it and seeing these guys play. Definitely makes you miss it, but I think it's the coolest time of the year. It's so cool seeing all these different teams from all over the country playing these series with one another. I mean, you got Troy and Little Rock, you got UNC, USC, Southern Cal, Texas, Oregon. I mean, it's going to be great baseball all weekend. I'm excited for the College World Series, though. It's gonna be awesome. Greatest show on dirt.
I double down on that. Yeah, can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be electric.
And we do have someone joining us this week, and they're going to also join us for the College World Series. They weren't able to be on this show tonight, but they will be sending in their picks for the Super Regionals, and they're also going to join us for the College World Series. And make sure you guys stay tuned to see who our fourth picker is for the Super Regionals and the College World Series. That's about all we got. Thank you guys for hanging out, and Hope you guys enjoyed the Super Regionals this weekend, and I look forward to doing the same thing this time next week, talking about the 8 teams we have that are going to be heading out to TD Ameritrade.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Can't wait.
not TD. Sorry, Charles Schwab Field. Sorry, I'm behind the times. Charles, I'm just
It's okay.
yeah. All right. See you guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Good,
See
man.
you.